Okay, so we are now going to look at enlargement. Now there's a couple of main things that we need to look at when we are looking at enlargement, like I mentioned, which is the center of enlargement and then the scale factor. So in this case, let's just start with a simple example of a rectangle. Enlarge the shape by a scale factor 2 about the center 2, 8. So first of all, we'll just figure out where the center of enlargement is. So 2 along, 8 up. And we're now going to enlarge the shape by a scale factor 2. So we're going to make it twice as big. What you're going to do is we're going to go from the center of enlargement to one of the vertices of the shape. So in this case, let's go to this one that's furthest away. So you're going to go 3 across, 2 down. Now, because this scale factor is 2, we're going to do this twice. So 3 across, 2 down, 3 across, 2 down. We're going to put a point there. So that point corresponds to that point. Now, we're going to pick another vertex. So I'm going to choose this one down here. And in this case, I'm going to go 1 across, 3 down. And because the scale factor is 2, I'm going to do it twice. So 1 across, 3 down, 1 across, 3 down. So I now have the top right vertex and the bottom left vertex of my rectangle. Now if I join this up, what I can see is, yes, this green triangle is twice as big as the black triangle. So you can see that length is 2, that length is 4, and then the height is 1, that height is 2. So you can see everything's been doubled. Because I chose corresponding vertices and I followed the path twice because the scale factor is 2. Now essentially this is how we're going to do all of enlargement. Now sometimes you're going to get fractional scale factors, which means instead of going twice I might need to go a half or 2.5 times, and we'll look at those. We're also going to get negative ones, which means I'm going to go in the other direction, but we'll get to those slowly. So in this case, enlarge the shape by scale factor 4 about the center 0, 4. So have a go if you haven't. Otherwise, I'm going to show you. I'm going to go 0 along, 4 up. Here's my center of enlargement. I'm now going to go to any of the vertices. What I know is my shape is going to be 4 times bigger. So that length 2 is going to be 8. So you're going to get quite a big shape here. So let's go 1 across, 2 up, and now we need to do that 4 times. So 1 across, 2 up, 1 across, 2 up, 1 across, 2 up, 1 across, 2 up. So what I have here is my first corresponding vertex. And I'm going to do the same thing with this point here. Now technically at this point, if I know that vertex matches and I know this shape is going to be 4 times bigger, well then I can just use a bit of simple maths here and just say, okay, well if that's going to be 1 unit across, this is going to be 4 units across because it's 4 times bigger. If that's 1 unit down, then it's going to be 4 units down, and I can fill in the shape here. But for the sake of the example and just building up the skills and practice, I'm going to do it a slightly longer way. And I'm just going to work out this vertex here. So let's go from the center of enlargement. I'm going to need to go 2 across, 2 up, and I need to do it another 3 times. 2 across, 2 up, 2 across, 2 up, 2 across, 2 up. So I've ended up where I said I would before, and you've got a length of 4, and you've got that length, original shape, the length of 1. And then from here, you can just fill out the rest of the shape like I mentioned before. So it's going to be 4 units across, 4 units down, and then I can see it goes 1 across here. So instead I'm going to go 4 across, and it goes 2 units down. So that means I'm going to go 2 times 4 is 8 units down. 1 across becomes 4 across, and eventually I end up with my very big enlargement of this little Tetris shape. Okay, next example. Scale factor 3, about the center 4, 0. So 4 along, 0 up. There's my center of enlargement. And now I'm going to go from my center of enlargement to the vertex, and then I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to do it 3 times in total. So 2 across, 1 up, 2 across, 1 up, 2 across, 1 up. So I've done it 3 times. So there's my first vertex. I'm now going to do the same with this bottom vertex here. Now, because I know my shape is 3 times bigger, I should, if I done it correctly, I should get 9 units down here. So I should end up here. So let's try that. So 1 left, 1 up, 1 left, 1 up, 1 left, 1 up. So you can see I did end up where I expected I would. And then from that, we're good to kind of sketch out the rest of the shape. Well, if this height is 2, the scale factor 3 means this height is going to be 6. And then you can fill out the rest and you've got your rectangle. Okay, example 4. Enlarge the shape by a scale factor 2 about the center 1, -5. So you go 1 across, 5 down. Now, it's quite similar to the previous example. This time around, I'm going to do everything twice. So if I go 2 across, 1 up, I'm now going to go 2 across, 1 up again. So that vertex ends up being there. My shape is twice as big, so instead of being 2 units high, it's going to be 4 units high. And instead of 3 units wide, it's going to be 6 units wide. So there is my rectangle. Now, if you got lost with my second and third points, you do the same thing. You might just need to work it out. So you go, for example, 1 across, 1 up, 1 across, 1 up, and you do the same with the other 2 points, and you've got your enlarged shape. Now, your shape can overlap the original shape. There's no problem with that. And in some cases, your center of enlargement might even be inside the shape. Now, if I go back to some of these examples here, what you will notice is something quite interesting, and that is the fact that if you draw a line to a vertex on that shape and you extend it, you will end up crossing both of the shapes, and it will follow the scale factor that you have used. So for example, in this first example, we're using a scale factor of 2. So what you'll notice is if you go 2, go 3 down, 1 across, 3 down, 1 across, that length is doubled. To get from that red point to this point here is twice the red point to that vertex over there. And this is going to help us with this example, where we need to describe the single transformation from A to B. So what we're going to do is connect the lines up and kind of do this in reverse. You know that these corresponding vertices have to meet this line. So these are ray lines, and you can see what happens is all of these ray lines will meet at a certain point, which means that this is your center of enlargement. Now, in terms of the scale factor, it's fairly obvious just from the shape. You can see if this height is 3 and this height is 6, well, then the scale factor is 2 if you're going from A to B. If you're going from B to A, then the scale factor is a half. In this case, we're going from A to B. So the answer to this is the shape has been enlarged by a scale factor 2 from a center of enlargement 0, 4. So there's 3 pieces of information. You say it's an enlargement, you talk about the scale factor, and then you say the coordinates of this enlargement, center of enlargement. Question 6. Describe the transformation from A to B. So you can see it's obviously been enlarged, and it's a single transformation, so it hasn't been rotated or translated or anything, it's just an enlargement. So we're going to draw the ray lines from the corresponding vertex Okay, so you can see that vertex and that vertex, they match for their shapes. In this case, we can see this also matches. And in this case, we can see this also matches. Now, the fact that they all cross over at this point is not a coincidence because it is the center of enlargement. Now, how much bigger is the shape? You can see it's 3 units high. And this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the scale factor is 3. Center of enlargement is 8, 5. And it is an enlargement. So scale factor 3, centered about 8, 5. Okay, so this is the first part of enlargement. The next video is going to be practicing the first part of enlargement. So if you already have a good understanding of what we've just covered, the next video is kind of optional. You can skim through it if you need any help with it or any more examples. But there's a second part of enlargement coming up after that. So make sure to smash the like button, hit subscribe, and there's more content coming up on transformations.